Hi, juniors. It's good to see you again. Today, we're going to do a transcript review and a credit evaluation. Remember, my name is Miss Lumsden, and I'm one of the counselors. I see the students whose last names begin with the letters F through L. You have a whole team here to help you. Today, we are going to do a quick review from last week on how to obtain a copy of your transcript and read it, and how to obtain a copy of the high school graduation planning form. We did this in last week's video in last week's homeroom. So you should already know how to do this. You should have already done it. That's why it's going to be a quick review. If you have not done this yet, you might find it confusing, which means you're going to need to stop and go back and watch the first video, and we will be able to explain in detail. We are also going to help you complete a credit check and how to determine what classes you still need to take in order to earn your diploma and prepare for your post-secondary plan. In order to get a copy of your transcript, remember that you need to log into your student Skyward. Okay, your parent family access will not work for registration. So all the steps in registration, you're going to need to use your student Skyward login and password. You also are going to need to use an actual Chromebook or a real computer. The app on your phone does not work. Once you get into Student Skyward Login, you will see the Portfolio Report Card tab. Click on that, and then you will see the Transcript tab. Click on that and download it. Once you find your transcript, you're going to download it and save it to your Chromebook, because you are going to need to go back and refer to this as we go through registration. Check your transcript for accuracy. We did this in detail in last week's video. So I am assuming you've all done it and you feel good about your transcript. 99% of them are correct. Take a deep breath. Don't worry if you haven't checked yours yet. You can do that after this video is over. Important thing that I want to review is these are the two big numbers that kids need to know about. This is your cumulative number of credits. My student has passed everything so far. They have a lot of credits. If you've struggled in the past, then you might not have as many credits. But you need to know that if you are beneath 13 and a half credits, then you are deficient. You're not on track to graduate. So if you're beneath 13 and a half credits, you need to make an appointment with your counselor, and we will put together a plan to help you graduate on time, hopefully. This number right here is your cumulative GPA. This is the magic number that kids are always asking about, because you need to know what it is when you apply for your universities and scholarships. They're going to ask you for your cumulative GPA. Now we're going to start your credit check. You're going to need this transcript, the credit check form that I showed you how to download last week, and then also a copy of your current schedule. You get your current schedule by going into Student Skyward Access, clicking on Schedule, and then you can see it. You obviously know what you're enrolled in right now for second trimester, but you're going to need to know what you're enrolled in for third trimester in order to do the credit check. The credit check form, you should have downloaded this last week. You get it by going to the Lindbergh Counseling website. There is a registration tab, and there's a section for each grade level. Go to the junior grade level, click on the high school graduation requirement checklist, and you're going to see this form right here. It is a fillable PDF. In order to make it work, you need to download it to your Chromebook, and then once it is downloaded, you need to open it and save it to your desktop. Once you have done that, you can look at this and you can see that each one of these boxes indicates a 0.50 trimester credit that's required for you to graduate. How to use this form. You have it on your desktop, you've saved it. Click this fill and sign button right here. And then you're going to have these things up here appear. So you can either choose to type your name with the alphabet part. You also have the ability to use crosses, check marks, circles, lines, dots. You want to come up with a system that works for you to indicate when you've already passed a class or you're enrolled in it right now. I put a check mark for every time I've completed a class, and then I chose to use the dot to indicate that I'm taking the class right now. If any of you have handwritten credit checks that I provided you, you see that when I handwrite it, I throw a T in there, means taking. Let's talk about that a little bit. For some of you who have printers, you might find it easier to use this form if you print it out. I do, but I might be showing my age, but I find it super quicker and easier to just go check, check, check with my pen. However, again, I might be showing my age, and you might not have a printer at home, and you might just find it easier to use the digital format, and that's why we made it to work that way. Do the credit check. We first of all start with the very top, the language arts. Find your language arts boxes on that credit check, and notice that you need 4 years. You need to take language arts and pass it every single year in order to graduate. You need to find when you took language arts 9A as a freshman and language arts 9B as a freshman. Find that on your transcript, and if you passed it, a passing grade is an A, B, C, D, or a P, a pass. If you passed the class, then you should have earned a credit. If you earned a credit, you mark that box off that you've completed it. So again, you find your 9A and your 9B, then move on to your sophomore language arts. Find the 10A. Did you pass it? Mark it off. Find the 10B. Pass it, mark it off. Language arts, junior year. Did you take it first trimester? My student did, so he's marked it off. Some of you might be taking it this trimester. That's when you're going to put the dot, means you're taking it right now. My student's taking Language Arts 11B third trimester in the spring, but because it's on their schedule and they're taking it now, I put the dot there. The idea being when we're all done, you're going to be able to see what classes you still need to take next year. And my kiddo obviously is going to still need to do their senior year. I'm assuming that we're going to pass that 11B. The 11B. That's why I put a dot. I don't want to accidentally register for it because I'm registered for it right now. I'm taking it as a junior and I plan on passing it, and I don't plan on needing to take it in my senior year if I pass it. Super important. If at any point you did not pass one of these required classes that has one of these boxes, then you need to make note of that. Do not accidentally mark it off because you're going to need these classes to graduate. Look at how my kiddo had problems with World History A, Spanish, and then Geometry. That incomplete, they still didn't earn a credit for it. So if you did not earn credit for one of these required classes, you want to find a way of bringing that attention to yourself because you still need to take that and pass it. Your counselor can help you with that. We have online classes that you could take this spring. If you have time in your schedule to do an extra class, one more in addition to the 5 you're already doing, we can help you and you can retake that class that you failed. We also have summer school available for credit recovery. That means if you took a class that's required for graduation and failed it, we do have online summer school available for those situations. So try to take care of those failed classes that way. If you know that you can't do that for some reason, like you're going to be gone during the summer, then you need to make sure that you take those classes next year, your senior year. Each one of these, no matter what, is required for the diploma. So if you haven't passed it, you need to take it. Math. Okay, a minimum of 3 years of math is required for graduation. For almost all of us, we need to do algebra, geometry, and then a third credit math. If you are a student that has an IEP and takes IEP math, then you just need to have 3 years of IEP math. But the rest of us has to have algebra, geometry, and then a third credit math. Some of you took your algebra or geometry in middle school. I spoke about that in the last video. So go back and watch that video if you have questions about what you should do if you took algebra or geometry in middle school. No matter what, though, you still have to have 3 years of math on your current transcript, and you would be taking right now math analysis, calculus, other third-year credit maths, or maybe bridges to math, statistics, algebra 2A, 2B. There are lots of third-year maths. Your math teacher should be teaching you about these as they prepare you for registration. Social studies. You need to take and pass World History A and B, US History A and B, and then most of our Lindbergh students do civics and CWI their senior year. All of you took US History A this first trimester. So right now, find the World History A, find the World History B, find the US History A, mark them off if you completed them. You should all be enrolled in US History B, either this trimester or next trimester. Put a mark that you're enrolled in it now. Let me tell you about a unique situation. A few of you took AP World History C or AP World History when you were sophomores. That C, that third trimester class, covers information that is necessary and required in contemporary world problems. So if you took AP World History C as a sophomore and you passed it, then you fulfilled CWI. You can mark that off as complete, and you only need to do your civics next year. For some of you guys, you might have been in another district. Some school districts do contemporary world issues or contemporary world problems as freshmen or sophomores. I think that's common for a lot of Kent kids. Contemporary world issues, contemporary world problems, it's the same thing. If you took that in another district and passed it, you could also mark that off and just take civics next year. But for 98% of us, we still need civics and CWI, and we take that in our senior year. PE and health. You need 3 trimesters of PE in order to graduate. That is a requirement at Lindbergh in the Renton School District, so you do need to do that. You probably took PE Foundations as a freshman. Try to find 2 other PE classes. If you have not taken 3 classes or it's not currently on your schedule, you're going to need to grab it your senior year. Also, health is a requirement. We took that when we were freshmen. Sometimes that's an frequent class that if you took it at another school, or if you're from another school or another district or another state, sometimes you guys don't have health yet. If that's the case, it's okay. You'll take it next year, but it is a requirement, that 0.50 credit of health. Science. Find your science from your freshman year. If you were with us, you took Integrated Science A and Integrated Science B. As a sophomore, most of us took Biology A and then Biology B. Other sciences could be chemistry, physics, AP Bio, anatomy and physiology, robotics, and pre-engineering. Find the sciences on your transcript. If you pass them, mark it off. If you're currently taking science right now this year, then you can mark it as a T or with a dot, saying that you're taking it right now and you plan on passing it. CTE classes. For some reason, kids get confused on what a CTE class is. When you look at your transcript, anything that's marked with the code PVO is a CTE class. When you look at your freshman year, most of you took ITA Word or ITA Excel. That's a CTE. Bam, mark it off. Look for any other PVOs. You should also be able to see the PVO code, I believe, on your schedule that your classes you're taking right now. With the trimester system, most of you have your CTE classes. If you have any questions, again, come to us in our counseling Zoom. We can help clarify if you have hit your CTE classes or not. Fine art. Okay, we have a ton of fine art. When you look at all the courses that are offered and the course selection sheet on our counseling registration webpage, you'll see that entire first column is fine art classes. So band, orchestra, choir, art, ceramics, photography, visual communications, video foundations, website design, and yearbook all count as fine arts. You need 4 trimesters of a fine art in order to graduate. World language. 2 years of a world language are required for your diploma. If you are applying to a university, those 2 years must be the same language. If all you want is your diploma, it's okay if you did 1 year of one language and 1 year of the other, but a university is going to want to see the same language And competitive universities, such as the UW or higher, are going to want 3 or 4 years of the same language. Look at my student right here. There's something called a World Language Competency Exam. If you speak another language, then you could take a test to earn credit in that language. You need to be able to speak, read, or write it. My student right here grew up in a Spanish-speaking home. He took the exam, bam, he's fulfilled his world language credits and got a fair amount of credit. And he earned that. He has that skill level. Due to COVID, we haven't been able to really give this exam in over a year, but we plan on being able to do it soon. We are looking forward to getting back in school, and when we do, we're going to be able to mass offer this exam again. So if you read, write, and speak another language well enough, you might be able to earn your world language credit that way. Personalized pathway. I think this can be confusing. For most of us, in order to graduate, we're going to need to do 2 years of world language and 2 years of fine art, okay? However, the state is saying if you don't want to do that, then they'll let you do what's called a personalized pathway. So if you're headed to a 4-year university, know that it is a requirement to do 2 years of world language and then the fine art. However, if you do not want to go to a university and there's something that you want to study, that you want to specialize in at Lindbergh, and here's some examples like being a graphic designer, or maybe you want to specialize in the healthcare career field areas or the culinary, whatever. When you're looking at those classes, if there's something you want to specialize in, instead of that world language and fine art, you can cut yourself down so that you only have to do one fine art and you don't need to do the world language. And you access what is called the personal pathway to fill those squares in instead. Electives. Kids are always confused on what an elective is, and I try to explain that there is no magic list of electives. An elective is something that you take in addition to those requirements, those first main things, the 4 years language arts, the 3 years of math, anything you take in addition to that, that's preparing you for whatever you are going to graduate to. If you're headed to a 4-year university, your electives might be taking more math, science, and world languages. If you are headed into construction or the Marines, or you want to start your own business, any other things that you might want to graduate to, then your elective is going to be the classes that is going to prepare you for what you are going to do when you're 18 and you're out of high school and you're preparing yourself and training for your future. Now let's look at this credit check form. It should be completed, okay? Everything that you've completed so far, you put a check mark to say that you passed it. You put some kind of a mark indicating you're taking it right now. Any of these blank boxes, those are classes that you still must take in order to graduate. We are going to have our elective fair on Thursday. So you're going to be wanting to look, what electives, what classes can I take that is going to fill these boxes up? Notice my student still needs to grab a PE class. He's going to be going to that elective fair and seeing what PE classes he might want to register for next year. Take a deep breath. Okay, I think this slide right now, the credit check portion, is the most confusing part of registration. If you are confused, it is okay. I tried my best to be clear, but I think that's going to be hard to do. Know that your counselors double check you. You cannot mess this up. We do a credit check on each one of you after every single trimester. So know that it's okay. You can come to us and meet with us during our Zoom sessions. Also, ask your teachers and your administrators. They can help you. They have answers to your questions too. I need you to be patient, however. Right now, we're unfortunately still in the middle of COVID. I wish we weren't, but we are. Your counselors have to respond every morning first to anybody's mental health and emotional needs. There are kids out there that are really having a hard time right now, and our job is to give that first aid emotional support. Also be patient, even if we were in school, guys. There are over 1,000 students at Lindbergh. It is not normal for you to be able to have a one-on-one session during registration. That's why if we were in school, we sit out there in the commons during lunchtime so you can come up and ask questions. That's the same thing we're doing during Zoom, is at lunchtime and before school, you can come in and just ask us your questions. I think that's the main thing that I want to hit. Remember, we have a registration Q&A sheet on the Lindbergh Counseling website that covers most commonly asked questions. Remember, you are with your teachers in their classes every day. Ask them the question. They have most of the answers. They're smart. You're right with them. Throw them a chat. And also, if you are confused or need to go back and look at any of these videos, they're all posted on our website. Take care, and I will see you soon.